What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JPZ on the keys, and there's two easier video today. And I've been looking on the YouTube scope for just videos to watch, and I wanted to get back into like my history bag a little bit. And I saw this video when Britain nuked America twice, and it kind of intrigued me because it's like never even heard about this at all. So without further, you know what I mean? Without further ado, let's get to it, man. I like learning about stuff I've never learned about before. So I appreciate all the support you guys are giving me on my channels. Like, I really appreciate all the support. But without further ado, let's get to it. Mark Felton Productions.
In the 1960s, Great Britain nuked the United States not once, but twice. Fortunately for all concerned, the attacks were only training exercises, but so embarrassing were these attacks that they were hidden from the American public for about 50 years, as well as being strenuously denied to the American press for decades. As far as America was concerned, its defences were 99% effective, but in simulated attacks, Royal Air Force bombers managed to penetrate US airspace to launch nuclear attacks on New York City and several other important urban centres. Before I tell you how, a word from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Curiosity Stream.
Hey, I can recommend Curiosity Stream because I watched that a good amount. Like they definitely have some fire stuff on there. Some really fire like documentaries and stuff, and it's mad cheaper than Netflix. It's mad cheaper than Netflix, like way cheaper than Netflix, cheaper than Discovery Plus, cheaper than HBO Max, cheaper than all these other streaming platforms. And it has a whole bunch of stuff on there, but I'm gonna skip past his sponsor because I'm already. Yeah.
Did the British manage to penetrate the world's most heavily defended airspace? The answer is surprisingly simple and consists of two words: Avro Vulcan. The Vulcan first flew in 1952. The team that created it, led by Roy Chadwick, who had designed the famous Lancaster heavy bomber of World War II. A jet-powered, tailless, delta-wing, high-altitude strategic bomber, the Vulcan was the backbone of Britain's nuclear airborne deterrent during most of the Cold War.
That looks so fun to fly, dude.
Until retirement in 1984.
That looks so fun to fly. That's and the crazy part is the world had finally figured out how to fly in the really early 1900s, and 40 years later, we're already developed. They already had bombs, they already had planes developed to use for war, and eventually later on they had it's just crazy how fast that we kind of evolved technology. Think about how fast cell phones have evolved from the phone was as big as a bag. It was literally a bag phone in your car to a big flip, a little big block, to a portable flip phone to an iPhone like this, to something even better. To now it's facial recognition and you can do everything. This is like an all-in-one device at this point. So this is kind of crazy how we've evolved and we've kind of really how technology has really just advanced so fast. It's crazy. It's almost insane.
This is the story of Exercise Sky Shield, when Britain nuked its closest ally, exposing how the Soviet Union could have done the same for real. In 1960, the United States decided to run the largest test of its air defenses in history. Exercise Sky Shield 1 occurred on the 10th of September 1960, and all commercial air traffic over the US and Canada was grounded, amounting to 1,000 US commercial flights and 700 general aviation aircraft, plus a further 31 foreign flights due to land in North America. The US Strategic Air Command would launch B-52 Stratofortresses and B-47 Stratojets to simulate a massive Soviet nuclear bomber force approaching North America from north and south. 360 US interceptor aircraft stood ready to defeat these enemy aircraft, which numbered 310. Among those 310 aircraft were 8 Royal Air Force Vulcan B-2 nuclear bombers. A flight of 4 flew from Scotland, while the other 4 launched from the British territory of Bermuda in the Atlantic Ocean. The American plan was to detect these enemy bombers by radar and other early warning systems, and then they would be intercepted and destroyed in simulated attacks by US jet fighters and missile batteries. The attacking bombers split their attacks between high and low altitude. The defending fighters did very well against the Stratojets and Stratofortresses, intercepting many of them, but the Vulcans proved more elusive opponents. The Vulcan flew at the highest altitude of the simulated Soviet bombers, cruising at 56,000 feet.
Damn.
One was successfully intercepted at this altitude over Goose Bay, Labrador, by a United States Air Force F-101 Voodoo, but the other 7 Vulcans all managed to penetrate American airspace to launch simulated bombing attacks on US cities. They then turned around and landed at Stephenville, Newfoundland.
That plane looks so nice, man.
How had the Vulcan managed it? The answer was their highly advanced electronic countermeasures systems and the Vulcan's amazing maneuverability. For example, the flight of 4 aircraft that approached from Bermuda were successful because 3 of them put up a wall of electronic interference that prevented interception, while the 4th Vulcan carried out a simulated nuclear strike.
So I think I've seen like they'll throw out like electronic signals to kind of like to confuse the radar, because it's like the radar is like, I shoot something and if it bounces off some weird signal that nothing is there, it's gonna mess up the radar. But like it's just really intriguing how people think. Like how do you think so far ahead to do like, oh, I'm gonna design it to where a radar doesn't work, or how do we like overcome these techniques that we designed? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. This is really interesting to me. I don't know why. It's just really interesting.
This was all rather embarrassing for Strategic Air Command, which quickly buried all stories about British bombers having nuked US targets and confidently assured the American public that US air defenses were, as I said, 99% effective.
Of course, you gotta say that.
However, the following year, the Americans invited the RAF to take part in Exercise Sky Shield 2. Perhaps the US AF was determined to show that the Vulcan's previous success was only a fluke, a one-time only event. Sky Shield 2, which occurred on the 14th of August 1961, was an even bigger event than the first one. It caused 2,900 US and Canadian flights to be grounded, affecting 125,000 commercial passengers. During the exercise, 125 US and British bombers would be pitted against 1,800 fighters and 250 missile sites, and over 200,000 Air Force personnel from the US and Canada.
They got all this footage, but I've still never seen Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. I want to see Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. I still want to see that footage. I won't believe it till I see it.
Yeah, but I'm straight. We're ready now. Brace up hard here. Come up. 6 foot, standing by front.
Again, 8 Vulcan B-2s participated, split again into 2 flights. one attacking on the northern route from RAF Lossiemouth in Scotland via Canada, and the other 4 aircraft on a southerly route from Kindley Air Force Base, Bermuda. The B-47 Stratojets simulated low-level Soviet bombers. The B-52s would attack between 35,000 and 42,000 feet, while the Vulcans again operated at the highest altitude, 56,000 feet. At the massive NORAD, or North American Air Defense Bunker at Colorado Springs, the US top brass was joined by the RAF's Air Marshal Sir Kenneth Cross of Bomber Command and Sir Wallace Kyle, Chief of the RAF Technical Training Command, to monitor the exercise. Just before 2 p.m, US interceptors pounced on the B-52s, approaching at the mid to high altitude level. The Vulcans also came in from the north, and again, due to the Vulcans' high-tech jamming equipment, only one was shot down by an F-101 Voodoo fighter. In fact, large numbers of US fighters were scrambled, but they concentrated almost exclusively on the B-52s. When the Vulcans came over, the interceptors did not have sufficient fuel remaining to climb to 56,000 feet plus and engage them. The surviving 3 Vulcans conducted their attack successfully, turned around and landed at Stephenville, Newfoundland. The southern attack force of 4 Vulcans from Bermuda reached a position 50 miles off the US coast before fighters were scrambled to intercept. Again, 3 of the Vulcans unleashed an electronic jamming screen that kept the attacking F-102 Delta daggers busy, while the 4th aircraft crept round to the north and sneaked through. This Vulcan proceeded to land at Plattsburgh Air Force Base in New York. If this had been a real attack, New York City could have been reduced to a smoking, irradiated hole in the ground.
But it's like I can still see why the United States wouldn't tell people, because it's like this is around Cold War time where it's just like all this tense, just a tense environment where nobody knows if World War III is going to happen any second. Nobody knows, because it's like tense. And it was like that for 50 years. You know what I mean? So I can see why they wouldn't tell people that these devices didn't work, because you got to think about it. We've been through 2 world wars in 30 years. And now you're going to say, oh, well, you know, we tested our air defenses and our air defenses aren't really the best. Like what? People would go crazy. Yes.
Many of the Stratojets and Stratofortresses had also managed to evade interception and launch simulated nuclear attacks, but not at the kind of success rate that the Vulcans enjoyed. In 2 massive exercises of 8 Vulcans that attacked on each occasion, 7 had got through to their targets, an astounding survival rate against the huge might of the US air defenses. Aircraft, America could be laid wide open to a nation-ending assault, something which the Soviet Union would have been very interested in. Fortunately for all concerned, the relationship between Britain and the United States never changed from special to decidedly antagonistic, and the Vulcans never came in anger. The American government also tried to make damn sure that nobody ever found out about the Vulcans nuking American cities.
Of course.
The US Air Force was very quick to deny rumors that RAF planes had once again successfully penetrated US airspace. In fact, the US government went so far as to classify all references to Vulcans included in the Sky Shield exercises. After all, if the RAF could practice nuke New York City, Washington D.C. and even Chicago, the Soviets could do the same, if they could develop an aircraft as good as the Vulcan. As far as Strategic Air Command was concerned, the Vulcan episodes had never happened, and the US was well protected, and that protection, as I said, 99% effective. The Vulcans' successful attacks on America were only fully declassified in 1997, long after the Vulcan had left British service. Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook channel, War Stories with Mark Felton. You can also help to support.
That's actually a really unique story because I understand the premise, but it's just also good how the United States and the UK had such a good relationship, a good work relationship to be able to be like, okay, let's test out our bomb. Can we test out your air equipment? Okay, we see that it doesn't work. So let's just act like this never happened and let's just remove everything. But that's just insane how you can people just sit there and develop these technologies, and it's just like, how smart are these people really? Like, you developed radar was already crazy enough as itself, but you now invented a jamming device to jam radar, because then they developed into those Nightwing planes, like the ones that are shaped like triangles, the ones that have like the plates on them that absorbs radar, like the radar absorbing plates. And then it's like the ones that they're black so that you can't see them. Like it's a lot of wild stuff that's crazy, man. Like all this, like those fighter planes, the fighter jets. I don't know. I just like seeing those. Those look really nice to me. But thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Drop some more videos that you would like for me to watch in the comments. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support you guys give my channel. But without further ado, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, turn on my post notifications. Be safe, stay on the grind. I'm out. Peace.